1% of dudes rapping, they ain't nice as me. 98% ain't live the same type of life as me. The judge gave me life and then they sent me where the life is be. That level 4 with depth and vice, the type of stuff they like to see. Two choices, fight or flee. I refuse to die a chump. I never been a mark, but damn, it's scary when that riot jump. I seen dudes cry, get pumped, and some sexually brutalized. Knew a dude who lost his life and he was only doing 5 year-long racial fights when homie all you do is ride. Lonely days and nights up in a hole causing suicide. From the moment you arrive, you see the Mexican mafia, AB skinheads with big giant swastikas, pro-black philosophers, the BGF, the Kumi, and Muslims who will murk you from the nation to the Sunni. That MS was loony, quick to ride up on they rival. Even Christians went to church, hide knives up in they Bible. Political and tribal, the Crips and Damus, the Long Beach, the Hubs and the Dubs and the Grooves, the IE, the Bakersfield, the Dago Pyrus, the hustlers quick to roll, the gangsters gon' move, whatever click you choose.
Say what's cracking, YouTube? It's your boy 16 to Life, and I'm back like I'm on a parole violation. Yard down. Now, for those of y'all that's new to my page, in 1994, I got arrested. I was eventually sentenced to 16 years plus life. I served 24 years straight in the California prison system. Yeah, that's me gassing on that intro right there. And if you want to get that song, it's available only on a 10-song EP that you get directly from me on a digital download. I also have 2 other mixtapes, one with 16 songs, one with 13 songs. They're $20 a piece or $45 for all 3. If you're interested, hit me up on my email, 16tolifemusic@gmail.com. Cashapp, PayPal, or Zelle me $20, and I'm going to get it to you ASAP, man. Let's get right up into this video. So a couple of days ago, I think it may have been a brother by the name of D-Money, right? And if I'm wrong about that, forgive me. But he left a comment in my comment section pretty much saying, hey, chill, man. I'd like to see you get back to, certain type of videos, because I believe you and Damian Porter and other blacks content creators in the quote unquote prison genre, and I'm paraphrasing here, could do a lot more to help the youth, or your stories do help the youth, is what he was trying to convey, right? And I replied and I told him, basically I said, no problem, man. I said, but a lot of times, in my opinion, I think that a lot of these youngsters out here that's, on the ground, the foot soldiers putting in the work, when they see individuals like me and maybe Damian Porter, saying that gang life is not the way to go, they just see us as some old soft niggas, right? And things of that nature, right? I think that a lot of times, especially if you're not from the same hood of these soldiers who are out here in the streets currently getting active, they see you as a dude that's then got soft, and they're not necessarily receptive to the things that you're talking about. Now, of course, I definitely would have way more influence with individuals from my section who I have access to and who have access to me, who I can talk to them and put things in their ear and share a personal perspective, or at least up and close perspective, because when you're talking to these individuals who are out here putting the work in and they active or whatever, especially if you're not able to, talk to these dudes on a day-to-day basis, the things that you're saying, they may even be receptive to, but a situation may come up, man, and of course, if you know where around, or, these dudes cannot reach out to you and holler at you or whatever, they gonna do what they feel they have to do, to keep their hood safe, to keep their name relevant, to keep their reputation up, to ride and get some get back, so on and so forth, right? So when I started doing my prison stories, you have a lot of prison content creators say they here to help the youth and so on and so forth, and to keep it 100. That was never my goal. My goal was just to entertain, man, and create an audience so I could drop my music. But as I started telling my stories, even though that was not my intention, I started running across individuals, man, who was like, hey, chill, man, listen, man, your story inspired me. I see what it's like in prison, and I'm, it helped me go a different way, because even though that wasn't my intention, I started learning that just by me sharing my experience and sharing what I've learned in prison, right, it helped individuals, because I don't come on here and try to make prison seem like it's cool or make that street life seem like it's cool, right? I share with dudes an honest overall idea of what I gathered from doing all that time, and I definitely realize it's a waste of time, right? A few times I've been to this spot out in Riverside. It's called I think it's called Atlanta Hot Wings or something like that, and it's a trip because damn near every time I went there, I bumped into this youngster right from San Bernardino. I forget his name, man, but shout out to you. Every time I see him too, he got a bad fly little female with him too. I think it's different ones, but anyway, shout out to you, right? But he told me, hey, chill, 16 to life. What's up, homie? We took a picture and like, hey man, I listened to your stories, man. They motivate me, so on and so forth. So over the course of doing these stories, I have learned that my words do have a certain type of effect on certain type of individuals, right? Another dude who be hollering at me and giving me props is a dude by the name of Lily Up. And I think Lily Up is out there in New Jersey or something somewhere. So I do realize now that some of these dudes are paying attention to the information we put out there, right? And when I say we, I'm talking about other black content creators, Damian Porter. It's an extremely good channel by the name of Swang Low Podcast. My partner, Do Rock Creep, who has been locked up for a long time, right? He shares his stories with you, and he doesn't try to glamorize. He lets you know what prison is really like, right? And then you have other content creators as well. B Braze, sometimes Aunt Hefe, just different content creators, right? And so while initially I didn't assume these stories would have an effect on individuals out there in the streets, it does have an effect on certain individuals, right? There's another good channel that I listen to. It's called Rap News and Street Politics or something like that. This dude has an extremely good channel, right? And he breaks down these street situations with a fine-tooth comb. And we see many times a lot of these individuals who are running around gang banging, getting cracking, getting active, the second they get caught, they start telling, right? I was talking to a friend of mine who has been on death row probably the last 27, 28 years, maybe longer than that, maybe 30 years, somewhere around there, right? And we was talking about how gang banging is fun, right, and cool until you get caught. And then after that, it's not so cool no more because, of course, your freedom is restricted. You're looking at a lot of time, so on and so forth, right? And then you have a select few who are deeply embedded in that gang and prison ideology like I was, right? So they continue to push and they continue to, do as they are supposed to do. But over a period of time, all that gets old, man. A dude at some point in time, when you're locked up, at some point in time, everybody wants to go home, right? And so why I mentioned Rap News Street Politics, right? Because he had did a story where, of course, you had these two hoods beefing, going back and forth with each other, catching bodies on each other. And then, of course, these individuals ended up going to jail, getting caught, some of them got sentenced to life. And when he looked and checked, they were all at the same prison doing life. So it's crazy. It's like, okay, we was out there on the streets, trying to kill each other, trying to kill each other's homies. Now look, now we on the yard walking around and we getting along, or if we're not getting along, we're coexisting. So, I mean, if you think about it, it kind of was all a waste of time. If you can be out here in the free world, this big old giant world where you can go anywhere in the city, anywhere in the state, you know what I'm saying, anywhere in the country, if you put yourself in the right position and get away from people who you don't like, people who you want to harm or you feel trying to harm you, how the hell can we not, you know what I'm saying? How the hell do we come to prison and we confined and we walking past each other, you know what I'm saying, and not tripping? If you can be out here in prison and not get into it with your enemies, you definitely should be able to be in the streets and go anywhere you want to go and don't have to see certain dudes if you don't want to see them, right? So, and this is no shot at all at B Braze, right? Because a lot of individuals enjoy his channel, and I tap in with his channel from time to time, and I wish the brother the best, right? And he talks about on his channel things that's going on in the county jail and in prison, and a lot of people tune in and they find that interesting. And like I say, once again, I understand. I was caught up in that life myself, right? And shout out to B Braze, right? But one thing I can say, man, through experience, at some point in time, man, it's gonna get uncool being locked up. You guys, because when y'all tap into his channel, right, y'all tap in to be entertained. But I'm gonna try to put up a picture, right, of him talking and doing a story. Look at where Beat Rage is at, homie. That is his world. You know what I'm saying? Y'all tap in and y'all tune in to that for entertainment, to be entertained. But y'all are having a glimpse of his mansion. That's his mansion. His life exists in that small little cell, man, and then he goes out to the yard and walk around and do whatever. Then he comes back, but he spends the majority of his time in that cell. And by me knowing from experience doing 24 years, that's not the way to live, homie. After a while, man, the food, you get tired of the same old food. You get tired of the same old shit, doing the same shit every day. It's not no females up in prison. I mean, I want to say like probably around, maybe about the 14th or 15th year that I was locked up straight, that shit got old. A motherfucker get tired of doing the same old shit every day. You know what I'm saying? I would wake up, go outside to the yard, play a little basketball, go work out, come back, shower, maybe go to the library, get a book, read the book. You know what I'm saying? Lay back, chill, read the book, watch a little TV. You know what I'm saying? Chop it up, play a little chess or some pinochle. Then the next day, it's the exact same thing. Day in and day out. Day in and day out. Day in and day out. After a while, man, that shit gets old, And then your parents is getting old. If you got brothers and sisters, they growing up, You may have some aunties, uncles, grandmas passing away, and you just stuck in prison, right? And so this dude, D-Money, left this comment, it made me think, right? It made me think that, are the black content creators doing enough to spread the message, right? Because I believe that the audience has enough intelligence to see what it's like. Damian Porter, he's got some real entertaining stories. In my opinion, Damian Porter has been the best prison YouTuber in the black genre for the, at least for the last year and a half, 2 years. This dude has the best stories right now, in my opinion, right? If you're tuning in for penitentiary stories, what's going on, the riots, the fights, this and that, he has some good stories. Do-Rock Creep has a lot of great stories too, but he doesn't get into that as much. But Do-Rock Creep from the Swing Low podcast, he has a lot of interesting stories too, right? Lately, he's been spinning the block talking about events and homies that he's been locked up and doing time with. Those are very interesting. To keep it real, I haven't been able to check out a whole lot of them, right? But he has some great stories too, right? And so neither one of these brothers, they try to glamorize prison. Not saying that B-Braze does either, right? But what I'm saying is at some point in time, man, I know from experience that dudes get tired of being in prison, right? I'm sure if I could interview the brother Do-Rock Creep from the Swing Low podcast, who has probably been locked up now 30 years plus, right? The majority of that on level 4s, maybe 5 or 6 months, he had went to a level 3. He's going to tell you, man, sitting in that cell, after a while, it gets old, regardless of the fact if you continue to stick to your principles and morals, you push the line like a soldier, like Do-Rock Creep has obviously done and been doing. At some point in time, no, man, we realize, like the brother from the show called This Ain't It, Perry, from East Coast, Young Sav. He has a channel called This Ain't It, where he talks about, being in prison. And a lot of the stories right now, he's talking about being in Pelican Bay, right? And he'll tell you, man, this ain't it. This is not the life, man. We think that we want this life, but until we get caught up and arrested and sentenced to a gang of time, then we realize, man, because myself included, man, you have some of these dudes who spend their entire 20s, their 30s, their 40s in prison. So while everybody is out fucking and enjoying life, messing with these bad females, eating this good food, going here and going there, you know what I'm saying? Like in the words of Derek Williams, I don't know if you guys know who that is, but anyway, man, dudes is out enjoying life, man. While I was locked up, my brother's going to the Bahamas, he's going to Jamaica, he's going to Hawaii. The dude is out there enjoying life, and I'm locked up, you know what I'm saying, dealing with the same old musty niggas in the cell and all that old type of stuff, You and the dude, y'all in the cell chilling 5-6 months, then his car and your car get into a ride on the yard, and your cellie rush you. You know what I'm saying? You've been in the cell with this dude 5-6 months, and they're living like brothers. So after a while, it's definitely a cold, existence, right? But of course, as gang members, as individuals who was out there in the street running around, you will have a lot of dudes come on here and they'll say the right things, or let me correct that. They'll say what appears to be the right things to try to remain tough and in good standings. And this is not directed at anybody, right? You have dudes come on here and they make it seem like this life is cool, right? But in reality, man, the majority of individuals locked up is trying to get out of prison, right? So that's all I'm saying, man, that when we watch some of these individuals that's still in prison, like Do-Rod Creep, like B-Braze, we have to realize, man, that for those dudes, that's not entertainment. That's the life they're living, man. For those of us who are fortunate enough to be free, once we turn off the YouTube channel, we go out about. We can go outside, Taco Bell, you know what I'm saying? McDonald's or wherever you like to eat at, right? Soul food place, wherever it is. Those dudes are stuck in that existence, man. And so, I think we should focus on that, man. Look at that cell. I'm going to probably put up a picture of B-Braze, right? Only because he tells stories that show a good view of his cell. But look at that, man. Look how he's living. That's no place to live, man. That's no place to live like that, man. Much less a long extended period of time, man. You know what I'm saying? We wasn't created, man, to stay caged up like that. No females, no good food, you away from family and all that old type of stuff, man. So, dudes out there that's running around caught up in that life, man, think about it. Think about if that's what you really want for yourself for the next 25, 30 years, the rest of your life or whatever it is the judge decides to sentence you to, right, man? I'm telling you, homie, that is not a cool way to live. So once again, shout out to D-Money. Hopefully that is the individual who sparked the idea for this channel. Sparked the idea for this topic right here, man. If it was not D-Money, whoever it was, man, you came up with a great topic, right? And so, are the black content creators who make prison content doing enough to help the community and help, send the positive message out there? That wasn't his question, but that's what I'm asking, So anyway, man, you already know what it is. It's your boy 16 to life. Resume normal program.